can a Jew be an anti-Semite, and to what extent? And the answer depends on the period, and of course on the personality. Probably the most interesting example, probably from the modern period that I'm widely using in the courses, is the case of the former Chancellor of Austrian Republic, Bruno Kreisky, who was a full-fledged Jew and had at least was in scholarly circles was widely regarded as a Jewish anti-Semite.
So it's important to deconstruct the media, and to deconstruct the media you need to go to the facts. And second, to deconstruct the political correctness which is in the media and the academy. So more than activism, more than race morality, I present my students the facts.
We could focus on contemporary anti-Semitism and the Middle East, and some of the people who are here could be invited just to break the silence and to pave the way for further research in our university. I would like to start asking people whether they think that there was some kind of hostility, hatred, prejudice against Jews in the Muslim world in the Middle Ages or not. Probably we should start from their own definitions of the subject.
For me, I'm going to focus on the approach of political Islam and anti-Semitism. Their targets at the end to establish an Islamic caliphate and eliminate al-kuffar. Kuffar here between quotation mean any other people are not Muslim, especially they're going to start with Jews and Christians. We shouldn't wait until they reach to us. We should raising awareness of people in the West about how political Islam is dangerous for the future of humanity.
I begin with what, why, and how, the many definitions of anti-Semitism. And I ask my students, why do we have even all these different definitions for something very simple and age-old? So we start with that kind of conversation, and I ask them what they think anti-Semitism is.
I think moral reflection is an essential part of education. When I go in and lecture about the Holocaust, I want students to reflect on the roles that people played during the Holocaust. I want them to reflect on what they would have done.
My course examines the complexity and interdisciplinary narratives of anti-Semitism and its impact in the contemporary world today.
The working title of my course is Shattered Mosaic, Anti-Semitism within the EU. I am teaching, generally speaking, colloquium-style courses. So they're undergraduates as well as graduate students. And partly that is because I'm one of, or the only, native English-speaking professor.
I came to this course with a title called Re-examining Anti-Semitism. It was something that I wanted to explore, and I am still going to do that. But over the course of this course, I actually changed, in part, my title to The Politics of Prejudice, Religion, Israel, and U.S. Foreign Policy. I'm going to explain how when we can understand and grapple with a topic as long and as varied as anti-Semitism, it's a way and a lens to understand other forms of hate and discrimination as well.
This is a deep course about the history of Christian anti-Semitism. In terms of pedagogy, I try to create a dramatic amount of variety. I split the students up into teams, and each team is responsible for a different segment of the curriculum. They lead the discussion, they lead our consideration of a different piece of the schedule.
I'm going to talk about the whole business of othering, and I'm going to draw from a very important Christian tradition, which is the Hebrew Bible, and then I'm going to take this whole business of othering, and I'm going to talk about it within the confines of different types of hatreds and prejudices. That's what I'm going to do. So really what we have here is a syllabus that's going to talk about the other, and it's going to talk about it with respect to blacks, Jews, and Muslims.
Well, I open up immediately with the discussion of what is a Jew. Once we've defined it, how do you measure it? Who's measuring it? What is it that they say?
It's really a challenge because many students find the anti-Semitism, either they believe it stops after World War II, they don't really discuss it as much, or there's still this misconception or perception that Jews are white. So they're privileged, why discuss it? And I think it's very important to bring this conversation out, especially the teachers who are going in the classroom to teach history.
The two contemporary international issues that we're going to look at as a case study would be racism anti-Semitism and human rights, 1. And 2, we'll look at Pan-Africanism, Zionism, and international law. I don't want to just focus on knowledge and content, but I want to move towards practice and problem solving.
There is a lot of inner Jewish community work that is already going on, but I would like to reach out more and not only stick to Jewish community, but reach out to other places and other people, because I think it's more important that, yes, we could fight it within ourselves, but I think it's important to also fight together and unite everyone together. So I was thinking more of using social media as a platform to reach out and to connect as many people as possible. And I think more what I would like to focus on at first is to raise awareness, because I think that is something that is lacking and not a lot of people are aware that this is going on in our own communities.
Too many blacks in my community are fighting and killing each other simply based off the fact that I grew up in one place, you grew up in another place, so we have to hate each other. We have to hurt each other. The quote that we've been repeating for the past 2 weeks, that anti-Semitism starts with Jews but doesn't end with Jews, is a message that I want to pass on to a younger generation to help build us to a closer sense of community. One without hate, one without discrimination, and one where you're free to love one another despite where you grow up.